Thanks for checking out this show review. This is for the 2024 release, The Creep Tapes. It's a Shudder original and it's coming to Shudder on Friday, November 15th, and the finale episode will be on Friday, December 13th. So if you count that up, it is 6 episodes. And I will tell you that all of the episodes are under 30 minutes, so it's very digestible. So you get one every Friday up until the 13th of December. And I will say personally, a few things. Disclaimer first. I'm not a big fan of found footage anything, and this is a found footage series that's based off of the first 2 Creep movies, which star Mark Duplass, and he was one of the creators of it, writers, all that. I'm not a huge fan of found footage. I did enjoy the first Creep movie. I have not seen the second Creep movie, but I also do believe that if you haven't seen either of the movies, you can watch this show and not feel lost, honestly, which I think is a great thing that they did. You always want to make it as accessible as possible for a larger audience. And I think they succeeded in that. So, take this with a grain of salt. I overall did enjoy it. I will say that off the bat. But I think that for the hardcore found footage fans, you're probably going to like it more than I did. For the hardcore Creep fans, you're probably going to like it more than I did. So just throwing that out there. Give my star rating at the end. Directed by Patrick Brice, who did Creep, Creep 2, The Overnight, Corporate Animals, a bunch of episodes of Room 104 on Max, which I did watch, and they were pretty good. There's Something Inside Your House. Now, this was written by Mark Duplass, who also stars in it, who did Black Rock, Creep, Creep 2, a bunch of episodes of Room 104, and The Knife. Again, 6 episodes, all under 30 minutes. It's usually around between like 25 and 28 minutes long. Shudder original, coming Friday, November 15th, ending on Friday, December 13th. So synopsis. I don't want to give you too much of a synopsis. If you've seen any of the Creep movies, it just continues with that main character from Creep, and it's other tapes. I mean, it's literally called the Creep tapes because it's other tapes from this individual. Obviously very found footagey. So I don't want to go too much further than that. Just say that if you haven't seen either of the movies, it's about this guy who makes tapes, and just check it out. I mean, you'll see. I just don't want to ruin anything for anyone. Just check it out, honestly. Also, I'm sure there's a trailer for it, so you can check that out too. Or watch Creep and Creep 2. You can do that. If you've seen either of the movies, you'll settle right back into things easily, but you could also watch this without having seen those. Kind of already talked about that. And I do think it's one of those things where, the show works on one level for people who aren't familiar with the movies, and still in a good way. And then the show works on a kind of different level for people who are fans of the movies or just have seen them. So there's just more that you're going to get out of it if you've actually seen the films. Well, in my case, I've only seen the first film. So maybe there would be even more that I could have gotten out of it if I saw the second Creed movie. Mark Duplass's character in this is very engaging, and the dialogue helps. Duplass, A, does a wonderful job with his performance in this. B, did a great job creating and developing this particular character that's been throughout the films and now this series. And C, is very good at writing engaging, fun, interesting dialogue, especially for this very interesting character that he's playing. So really, Creep mainly focuses on this one character, Mark Duplass's character, and he's magnetic on the screen. He's very interesting. You want to know more about him. You want to hear more from him. He kind of is all over the place emotionally, and he does such a wonderful job at it. And there's so much really legitimately funny dialogue that's put into this that it's kind of lighthearted, and then it's kind of not lighthearted because obviously it's horror since it's on Shudder. And yeah, I just think it's a very nice mix, and it's very, very hard to get a good mixture of comedy and horror into things when you're risking kind of really killing the horror aspect of it. If anything, I would say it is more on the comedy side of things than horror, but that also makes sense from the standpoint of what Creep was and what I'm assuming Creep 2 was. There is some decent humor, like I already said. The first episode feels kind of like a retread of the first movie, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. they kind of started out as like this, here's a lot of familiarity for you if you've seen the first or both movies or just the second movie, I don't know, but here's some familiarity for you. We're going to immerse you into the creep world. Then after that, it starts to kind of go a little bit further, and then it's not feeling as much of a retread. So I think it's totally fine that they did the whole retread thing. I love this. This is a big thing for me. I love the intro and outro music for this. There really isn't music during it because it is found footage, so there was no reason to actually have a score to it. But the intro song, the outro song, great. I love them. Composition is awesome. Love it. Through dialogue, there's a good amount of winking at the audience, and it works. There are times where films will kind of try and put that whole double meaning in dialogue, how they're like winking at the audience, but it just doesn't work that well. It comes out as like corny, over the top. I don't think that happens here. I think because of the kind of humorous tone of a lot of it, it actually connects quite well with that winking stuff. So again, just going back to the writing prowess of Mark Duplass, I think he did quite a nice job with that. The different scenarios in each episode keep it from feeling stale. That's one of the good things that I liked about this. Instead of having another creep movie, in my opinion, is that since they're episodic, since these are the creep tapes, so it's multiple tapes, it's not like 100%, but it is kind of like a fresh story. Like here's another chapter in this character's life, basically. And so you have different other different characters, you have different scenarios being set up. So it's the same character, but it's different things going on. So it still feels new. And then as they keep going on with the episodes, because Shudder did provide me with all 6 episodes to watch, so I have seen everything. But as you end up going on, it starts to change a little bit, and you can see that Duplass is trying to do a little bit more with the Creep franchise at this point. And for someone like me, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think episode 5, it kind of lost me a little bit. I was just like, this isn't as what I've been wanting from it. Episodes 1 through 4 are what I'm interested in, what I'm wanting from it. Episode 5, I was like, Episode 6 was a little bit better, in my opinion, but still trying to go in the same vein as episode 5 to a degree. And I understand what he's trying to do. And I think that those episodes are really for the Creep franchise fans, and also the kind of the found footage fans. So, and that's not me. So obviously it wasn't really for me, but still ended up enjoying it. The camera work is handled well, especially for a found footage film. Too many times with found footage films, or in this instance, a show, they'll just go for extreme shaky cam, so much of it all the time. Mark Duplass and what was the director's name? Patrick Brice, sorry. They do such a good job of making sure that the camera work is shaky at times, so it makes sense that it really is handheld and found footage, but not too shaky. They're able to walk that line of making it feel believable that it's being handheld by these characters, but also not having it be too shaky to the point where you can't see what's going on or you're feeling nauseous. So great job in that respect. They do actually push the story forward. As far as like Creep the franchise, which is kind of what I was getting at before, saying that like for the hardcore Creep franchise fans, like you'll appreciate where this series goes, because it's not just about like, okay, here's one person that he's interacting with, okay, here's another person he's interacting with. It becomes more than that. So yeah. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the Creep tapes. Out of 5 stars, half stars in play, I'm going to give it a 3-star rating. I thought about going 3.5, but I don't think that it's quite at that level. So I thought about it, but I'm going to go 3 stars. But again, like I said, I'm not into found footage a whole lot. I'm not like a huge Creep fan. I do believe that people who are really into found footage and people who are really into Creep are going to like this significantly more than me, most likely. So if you're a Creep fan, if you're a found footage fan, I think you have something to be happy about. So check it out each Friday until December 13th. Anyway, would love to hear your thoughts as you're watching the episodes, or when you're finished with all the episodes. You can put them down in the description. We can talk about it, and we can do spoilers down there. That's totally fine. But yeah, do me a favor, hit subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up on this video. I do have memberships if you're interested in donating to the channel. That's in the description. You can find the link for that. And you can hit the notification bell button if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos. Regardless, thank you so much for your time watching this. Until next time, keep it brutal.